Are you wondering what to do with all of your keto chow? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you 4 different ways to have your keto chow rather than just a shake. Welcome back to my channel. It's Janet, and if you're new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Give this video a like to let me know that you're liking my content, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so YouTube can let you know when I upload a new video. And if you're a returning subscriber, then welcome everyone that is returning. I love everybody so much, and welcome back to my channel. I have lost over 100 pounds following the ketogenic lifestyle, and during that time I had a lot of keto chow. Keto chow was like a quick go-to. I could prep it. I've also done a keto chow challenge, which was 3 days of just having keto chow. I actually will link that video here and you can watch it at a later time. And keto chow has a lot of clean ingredients, and it's very low carb, extremely low carb, which makes it perfect for keto. So in today's video, I am going to show you on different ways that you can have keto instead of just making plain shakes. All right, so in the first recipe, we are going to be making a keto salted caramel Frappuccino. I loved Frappuccino from Starbucks prior to keto, and especially now that it's becoming summer, starting to get nice out, I love smoothies, Frappuccinos, anything that I can have that's like nice and cold, iced coffee. I am loving that right now, and especially during the whole entire summer, I think we look for a little bit more options as far as like having those cooler items like ice cream, smoothies, fraps. So let's get started on making the keto salted caramel frappe. Okay, we are first going to get started on our salted caramel Frappuccino. So what I like to use is I like using my magic bullet for this. You can feel free to use either your blender, that will work perfectly as well. I'm just making it for 1, and the recipe that I will link down below is for just the 1 serving. So I have just kind of like a larger cup that I use with my magic bullet. I absolutely love this thing. I use it all the time. As you know, I've been hooked on smoothies as well lately. So that is what I'm going to be using. Feel free, and you can use your blender as well too. So let's get started on making our frappe. So I'm going to start with my water, and I'm going to be using 1/4 cup of water to start out with. So we are going to put that in first. Then I'm going to put in my Keto Chow salted caramel. I'm going to put the whole packet in there. If you do have the bigger containers, I always suggest just 1 scoop is pretty equivalent to the 1 packet. And then, since we are making this salted caramel, I am going to add a little bit of the butter toffee skinny syrup. I don't have caramel, but if you do have caramel, you can use that, or vanilla as well too will work, but I just thought that this would be really good. And I am going to measure it actually, and I'm going to I'm going to do 1/2 tablespoon. And also what I'm going to add is some of the Walden Farms caramel flavoring. I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of that. Next, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of the sugar. I always use the Swerve sugar as well too. I always have that link down below in my Amazon favorites. So I'm going to use about 1 tablespoon of that. Next, I'm going to use 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. And it suggests, the recipe that I'm going to link below is actually a pumpkin spice recipe. I just adapted it to make a caramel one. It had also said to use frozen ice cubes, frozen coffee ice cubes. However, we got rid of all of our ice cube trays when we got our new fridge that has ice and water like built into our fridge. So what I did is I just kept some coffee and put it in the fridge for overnight to use for this recipe. So we will take 1 cup of either cold coffee, or else you can do the ice cubes as well too. So we are going to add, it says for 1 cup, so we are going to add, this is 1/2 cup measurement. So that's 1/2 cup and another 1/2 cup. Then I'm just going to put the lid on my magic bullet. Then I'm just going to pulsate it until it's the consistency that I like. right, I'm just gonna check the consistency of mine because I can probably add, yeah, I'm gonna add a couple ice cubes to mine as well too. All right, so I'm just gonna add a few ice cubes to mine and then we will put it through again. Oh, that's much better. I think that's gonna taste much, much better. All right, now let's put it in our cup and then we are going to get ready to give it a taste test. This is the final product, everyone, and it looks absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. So what I had used for the top is I make my own whipped cream. I will link that video actually down below in the description. There's always a lot of people ask how I make my whipped cream, and it is keto, and then I just topped it with the caramel syrup on top just to give it that little extra look. So let's give it a taste. All right, everyone, we are ready to taste this, and oh my gosh, tell me that doesn't look absolutely amazing. Like, let's be real. It looks delicious, right? Let's give it a taste. I wanted to keep on drinking it instead of just like tasting it. This is so good. Make sure you give it a try at home. You can make your own keto frap at home. Really, really simple. Only takes in few ingredients, and I'm guarantee you have those ingredients on hand already. So give it a try next time and let me know what you think of it. A lot of you know that I love raspberries. I love raspberries any way that I can have them, whether it's within a smoothie, in my baking, any way. I love raspberries. So I decided to actually make raspberry scones with my raspberry keto chow. So let's get started on making those scones. Okay, so for our scones, we are going to be making this in the food processor. So we are going to take our 1 package of the Keto Chow Raspberry Cheesecake, and we are going to put that inside. And then we are going to take a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. And this is the kind, I always get the red mill, and I have it linked down below in my Amazon favorites. Always is a really, really good price. So we are going to put a 1/4 cup there. We are going to add our sweetener. And we are going to use, we're going to use a 1/4 cup. That is what I'm going to use, a 1/4 cup of the Swerve sugar substitute, because I do like mine a little bit sweeter. It does say in the recipe that you can half the amount of sugar if you'd like, but I do like my scones a little bit sweeter. And then I am going to put in my baking powder is next, and I'm going to use a 1/2 tablespoon for that. And then we are going to pulse it on our food processor until it is crumbly. All right, so that is just pulsed a couple times. Then we are going to add our butter, and this is going to be how much butter we're using. It's a little less than a 1/4 cup, and just make sure that it's cubed, and we are going to put that in our food processor as well. Then we are going to put in 1 ounce of cream cheese. Then after this, after the butter and the cream cheese is in there, then we are going to pulse it again until it gets crumbly. Then in a small bowl, which I'm just going to put my egg and my sour cream. And we are just going to lightly beat those two together. So I don't have sour cream, but what I am going to use is this yogurt. This is just an organic yogurt, and they do say that you can use like kind of like a Greek yogurt, thicker yogurt in lieu of sour cream. So hopefully that will still work and, you know, still turn out good. And we are going to use 2 ounces of sour cream. So I'm just actually going to get my scale and measure out the 2 ounces. All right, I'm just gonna zero that out, and then I'm gonna add 2 ounces of the yogurt, which if you have sour cream, then definitely use sour cream. And then put it in with our mixture. All right, and then we are gonna pulse all the ingredients together. Then I am actually going to get some gloves on because this is going to be very sticky apparently. You know what I could have done as well is I could have added a little bit of lemon extract and made like raspberry lemon scones. Woo! Might have to do that next time because this smells so good. So all it says is just kind of to shape into a ball. And then we are going to just make scones out of it. And I'm just gonna use, if I do have one, if not, I'll just use a cup and just make like circles. Okay, so they should be about 1 inch thick. So I think that's gonna be good. I'm going to get my cookie cutter or a glass. The cookie cutters that I have are actually shapes, so I'm just going to use a top of a mason jar because I feel like that's going to be a pretty decent size. While I was finishing making these, what I'm going to do is I don't have white chocolate chips, but I do have a Lily's white chocolate bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crush up a little bit of this chocolate, and then I'm just going to put it on top of the scones because I feel like white chocolate and raspberry, like, oh my gosh, sounds delicious. All right, so what I did is I just put them in a baggie, and what I did is I just took a hammer to it a little bit and broke it apart, and it's just pieces is all it is right now. So I'm just gonna put those on top of my scones. Okay, so our oven is preheated and I'm just gonna put it in the oven. I'm gonna put it in the oven for 20 minutes, so let's do that. Okay, our scones are all done, and this is them out of the oven. That was a little less than 20 minutes, to be honest, but they are pretty golden. So we are just gonna let those cool, and then we will give them a taste in a little bit. And these scones look absolutely amazing. I absolutely love scones. I remember Jimmy actually was in the hospital. He had gotten neck surgery to replace one of his discs because of being in the Canadian military, his neck and back, he suffers from it every day, but he did have neck surgery to replace one of his discs. He had that done in the Calgary hospital, which is like one of our major cities here in Southern Alberta, and we are about 2 hours away from Calgary, and he went to the hospital, and there in the hospital, because I stayed with him, of course, for like 4 days, they had cheese scones. This was before I started keto. I had to have like 2 cheese scones every day. Even when he left the hospital, I bought like 6 scones, brought them home with me, and put them in the freezer. That's how much I love scones. So let's give this a taste. It looks delicious. Oh my God. These are very, very good. As you can see, the texture, there's a look at the texture. It is really good, and it tastes just like a scone. It's nice and like kind of crunchy on the outside and soft and chewy on the inside. I feel like what would make this better is to add a little bit of raspberries in the mixture and to add the white chocolate chips in the mixture as well too, instead of just on the top. It was an afterthought for me to put that on top, but I feel like raspberry inside the mixture would make it really, really good. The recipe doesn't call for that, but I just feel it would bring out the raspberry flavor even more. Or like I said, what you could do is put a little bit of lemon extract in the mixture as well too, and then you could have raspberry lemon scones. I feel like that would be good too, but give it a try. Really, really good. And you can also put some jam on this too, some of the sugar-free jam. Actually, let's taste it. I do have some of the jam. This is the keto jam that I always get. It is the Good, I guess that's the brand. But I find this in Canada, I get it off of, in Canada, I get it either off of SwitchGrocery. I've gotten it before. And I've also found it on the Nutri Market as well too, but it's really, really good jam. So we're gonna try a little bit of the jam on the scone as well too. This is the raspberry. This is what you want to do. It really brings out the flavor of the raspberry. And tastes really good. So give it a try, something to change up things, right? My go-to flavor for anything is vanilla. So in this recipe, I'm going to be showing you how to utilize your vanilla keto chow in a muffin recipe. It's going to be really simple, and you can even prep these ahead of time. So let's get started on the vanilla muffin recipe. Next, we are going to be making our vanilla muffins. So we are going to need 4 ounces of cream cheese. And then we are going to need the 2 tablespoons of butter as well. And we are just gonna melt these in the microwave for like 10 seconds. And we're gonna wanna make sure that this is kind of cool enough to add our eggs. So we're just going to make sure that everything is all cooled. Okay, so we are just going to mix this all together. So in a separate bowl, we are going to add our keto chow, our baking powder, which is half of a teaspoon, a quarter of a teaspoon of baking soda, and I'm gonna put a dash of cinnamon, and as well to my wet ingredients, I'm just gonna add a splash of vanilla. We're just gonna give our dry ingredients a little bit of a stir here, make sure that they're all well combined. Then what we are gonna do is we are going to add our dry ingredients to our wet mixture here. I'm just going to bring out my big mixer here that I have off to the side, and I am actually going to put all of this into a mixing bowl and then mix it in my KitchenAid because I feel like it's gonna mix and blend a lot better. So what I'm going to do, because I did make only half the recipe, which is 6 muffins, I got this cute little tray off of Amazon. I have it linked down below in my Amazon favorites, and I'm just going to spray it with some avocado oil. And then I'm going to put my batter into the muffin tin. And we are going to put them in a 350-degree oven for about 22 to 26 minutes. So let's do that. Okay, these are our muffins. They smell absolutely amazing. So oh yeah, these just pop out so easy as well too. So I'm just going to put a few on my plate here, and then we will give it a taste. Okay. We are ready to taste these vanilla muffins. So the Keto Chow vanilla, we made these little muffins, so let's give them a taste test. These are they remind me of something. These remind me of something, but I cannot pinpoint exactly what it is. But they are light, and you know what I think they remind me of is like an egg loaf. I think that's what they remind me of, because I have made that before, and I plan on making that actually with a what I eat in a day coming up soon. But I have made egg loaf before for breakfast, and this is what it reminds me of. So the texture is quite similar as well. So that is the texture of it, and it tastes so good. I feel like it would be really good if you put something in the batter, like, I don't know, chocolate chips or even some fruit like blueberries. I feel like blueberries would be really good in this, but it tastes really good. The texture is amazing, and it's not dry at all. It is really good. So make sure you give these a try. I made 6. These will also be good for a meal prep as well too, for something on the go. I think we can all say that Snickerdoodle is probably one of our favorite flavors. I know I love Snickerdoodle, especially like Snickerdoodle cookies. So I found a recipe in order to use my Keto Chow Snickerdoodle, and I am going to make them as Snickerdoodle bars, and they are going to be keto, so let's get started on that. To start our next recipe, which is going to be the Snickerdoodle bars, we are going to need a half of a cup of melted butter. So for this recipe, you're gonna want to use like a handheld blender for this recipe. So that is a half a cup of butter. Next, we are going to need a quarter of a cup of erythritol or sugar substitute. So I am going to use the Swerve once again. And you're going to need a quarter of a cup. You're going to want to have 2 large eggs in the mixture. Then you're going to want to add in your package of Snickerdoodle, or 1 scoop if you do have a big container of the Snickerdoodle. And we're going to do a dash of cinnamon in that as well. And then we are just going to mix all that up with our blender, our handheld blender. Then we are going to want to grease an 8x8 pan. And I am just going to use the olive oil spray that I have here. And then we are going to put the mixture on top, but we are going to leave out a quarter of a cup. So I am just going to scoop out a quarter of a cup and just put it over here to the side on a piece of paper towel. Then we are going to put this all mixture into our glass baking dish. And then we are going to make our cheesecake mixture. Okay, so in my mixing bowl, which I am going to be using my KitchenAid blender for this part, I am going to put in 8 ounces of softened cream cheese and a quarter of a cup of erythritol. I'm going to use this because I am all out of my Swerve. So a quarter of a cup of erythritol, a quarter of a cup of sour cream. However, I don't have sour cream, but I'm going to be using the yogurt that I have, which is kind of like a thick Greek organic yogurt. And then 1 large egg room temperature. All right, so we are going to put this, I'm going to put this in my KitchenAid mixer and gonna mix this all up. So now we are going to just pour this on top of the mixture that we already have, our Snickerdoodle mixture. And then we are going to put small dollops of the remainder Snickerdoodle mixture on the top. And then we're going to kind of do a little swirl as well too, and kind of swirl it into the mixture with a knife. So let's see if we can do that. Yeah, I feel like that's the best we're gonna get. All right, and then we are going to put it in the oven at a 300-degree oven for 30 minutes. So let's do that. All right, it is later on in the evening, much later. It's after 9 o'clock, but I wanted to try this today like so bad. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I just double checked and I cut it into 16 squares. And I'm going to take out a piece and let's try it together. All right, let's give this a try. I have high hopes for this because this looks delicious. So let's taste it. This is so good. It doesn't taste like keto at all. Like nothing in this tastes like keto. This tastes like it tastes like a cheesecake bar. Like a cinnamon cheesecake bar. That's exactly what this tastes like. This is really good. This is probably my favorite, and I love the scones. I kind of feel like you can make this with any of the flavors, to be honest, because even like a strawberry one strawberry keto chow would be a strawberry cheesecake. That would be really, really good. So really, really good. Highly recommend. I hope you enjoyed all of these ideas on how to make keto chow in different ways other than just a shake, because sometimes the shakes, just having alone, does get repetitive. I know I still love the shakes and it's great for on the go, especially if I'm camping or if I'm working in town, driving, holidaying, whatever. I do love to take the shakes, but it's also just nice to maybe like bake with the keto chow as well, just for something different. So let me know down below if you enjoyed videos like this and utilizing keto chow in different ways. I love making these videos for you, and thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you hit that red subscribe button, give this video a like to let me know that you're liking my content, and make sure that you're hitting that notification bell so YouTube can notify you when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.